Did you know around 1,000 species of bacteria live on human skin? A fascinating, if not relevant, bit of trivia. Wouldn't you agree? And prodding me was intended to elicit what result, exactly? At any rate, I am quite conscious, merely waiting. I can assure you that of my numerous psychic afflictions, narcolepsy is not one of them. Would that it were, but no. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates. Oh no. You know what they say about having too many totalizers on the same sum? Nothing gets solved. All the more reason I rely on my own math these days. Less room for error. Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand. But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. All confidential, I'm afraid. Many are still under peer review, but I can assure you, their value is commensurate with, why, the discovery of gravity, or has the potential to be. Oh no. I couldn't possibly ask you to endanger yourself by seeking out these logs. Cloister is rather treacherous, and some of the chapels are difficult to reach by design. However, if you happened upon these chapels and recovered these logs, I would most certainly be interested in their contents. By my reckoning, the amount of logs to be collected is 4. You have that? 4. No more, no less. Each chapel should have at least one somewhere inside. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Impossible, I'm afraid. The Protectorate is rather well entrenched at present, and nothing short of an all-out siege is likely to dislodge them. If you're determined, I recommend consulting with the presiding bishop on the matter. She can tell you more. How do you know about that? I mean, that is quite the allegation. I deny it effusively. Yes, actually, now that you mention it, I would. As you have cleverly sussed out, Laplace's garden is the subject of an experiment into social conditioning, or curating, if you will, through the use of therapeutic pharmacology. We have been administering a pharmaceutical to the population of the garden via the water supply that aids in emotional regulation. We call it perspective. It's odorless, harmless. Well, apart from the withdrawal, but I can assure you we have our best minds working on that little issue. Minor complication at worst. Irritation, paranoia, increased desire to gamble. Oddly enough, all manageable conditions, of course. We are increasingly operating with fewer resources, however, and most regrettably, we've had to eject more and more subjects from the experiment in order to continue it. In a plan-perfected universe, we would have ample time to wean participants off perspective before sending them out of the garden. But, alas, we do not live in that universe. Yet. Fortunately, your discomfort is not a determining factor in the continuation of the program. Primarily, though not exclusively, because you don't live here, at any rate. I have no interest in debating the ethics of this experiment with a layperson. No offense.
Sending me into desolation would mend what he saw as wounds in my mind. The first few weeks were horrible. Grief dogging my every step. Nightmares of my murdered colleagues. But then, the nightmares began to ease, and the grief ebbed away. What replaced them is emptiness. The Order speaks of humanity becoming something more, but their words are insufficient speculation. There is nothing more to be. Only dust and death, and the rifts await us. Those rifts, I find the absolute annihilation they offer oddly soothing. Perhaps I will make one last pilgrimage. One last journey on the path from nothing to nowhere.
Frankly, pissed off. Target analyzed. Late Mortificator is charged. Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Mobilizing.
Gravel in that club.
Can't attack what's not there.
Mitigating the threat. Locking them down.
Combatant scanned. Realize. Yeah. There you. Going to ground and such. Mortificator at ready.
so I'm trapped. Messages to the Order left unanswered. Tried to run. Got about 2/5 of me gouged out. A lot of blood. Last now. Spent much of my life wondering what I'd say at the end. Trying to think of the words for this felt like reading a thesis before the presiding bishop. But a lot of people die, and not a lot of final words get remembered. Certainly no one will hear these. So why worry about being meaningful? What matters is who I was when I was alive. And if I was predestined to be Ursapod food. I think maybe I would have liked to re-roll the odds.
Beckett was right. Solitude has been good for my studies. In just 93 days, I have made extraordinary progress deciphering the truths of our universe. For instance, there are none. None whatsoever. Objective reality is itself a concept invented by subjective observers eager to apply reason to chaos. In light of that view, better to assume we are all sleepwalkers, sharing the same dream of consciousness. We are the universe attempting to know itself. Wow. Life-affirming, in a way. And to think, I almost walked out into that blizzard last week.
The operator has
Our
returned.
sense of community. They sneer at our contentment.
Prudence dictates we reject individualism in all its many forms. We rout all disruptive influences.
As a fellow subject like
We in the Order love to speak of a grand plan, of ordered complexity. Where all things have a reason for existing, a purpose to fill. But what purpose is served by hundreds dying senselessly in the cold? The longer this interminable war drags on, the more convinced I become of the universe's dispassionate variability. I must reconcile with this reality. And if we cannot, then perhaps it is time we evolve a new philosophy altogether. It's certainly worth bringing up with the presiding bishop upon my return.
Welcome back, Agent. I trust Laplace's garden is treating you well? In what manner can I assist you? Oh, look at me, as giddy as a first-year novice. All right, let's listen. No, this isn't right. There must be some mistake. The beliefs advocated here are entirely in opposition with what the Order stands for. I don't suppose you have any other recordings less filled with, despair? Philosophism? What's that? Well, that sounds horrible. It's evident what happened. My colleagues must have gone quite mad in the isolation of their studies. Sad, but perhaps not unforeseeable. Only one certainty remains. These logs must be destroyed. I shudder to imagine the ramifications if other members of the Order were subjected to such nonsensical rantings. Please understand, what's been recorded here borders on heretical. Scientism teaches that the universe is constant, rational, and inalterable. These proofs reject all of that reason in favor of some ineffable manifestation of personal will. No, of course. You're right. Rejecting data out of hand only leads to confirmation bias. I will preserve the logs, if only to study where these scienticians went wrong. I believe I promised you a reward. Here is that lockbox. I regret I don't have a key, but I'm sure you'll find some way to access its contents. Eventually.